Hello and welcome to Prepspot. In this video we are going to know about one of the most significant developments in India's defense diplomacy in recent times, the landmark BrahMos missile deals with Vietnam and Indonesia, two countries at the forefront of securing the Indo-Pacific region. Over the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'll guide you through the genesis of the BrahMos program, the strategic imperatives behind these deals, the technical marvel that the BrahMos missile represents, and the broader geopolitical and competitive exam relevance of these transactions. By the end of this session, you'll have a clear understanding of why a nearly $700 million sale to Vietnam and a potential $450 million agreement with Indonesia matter not just for defense analysts but also for anyone preparing for competitive exams like the UPSC, SSC, and other state and national assessments in 2025. Let's begin with some background context. The BrahMos supersonic cruise missile project is the product of a visionary joint venture formed in 1998 between India's Defense Research and Development Organization and Russia's NPO Mashinostroyenie, aptly named BrahMos Aerospace. The name itself reflects this partnership, combining Brahmaputra, the mightiest river in northeastern India, with Moskva, the Russian capital's namesake river. From the outset, the goal was to develop a versatile, high-speed missile capable of striking targets with pinpoint accuracy, whether launched from land platforms, naval vessels, submarines, or even from aircraft. For nearly 2 decades, BrahMos remained an exclusively Indian asset, its range deliberately capped at 290 kilometers to comply with international norms. However, in 2016, India's entry into the missile technology control regime unlocked the possibility of extending that range to 300 kilometers, fully unleashing the missile's potential. Fast forward to 2022, when the Philippines became the first international customer of the BrahMos system, securing a $375 million deal that included 3 missile batteries. This breakthrough set the stage for India's more ambitious outreach under its Act East policy, a strategic initiative aimed at deepening economic and security ties with Southeast Asian and Indo-Pacific nations. Now, as of April 2025, India stands on the cusp of finalizing a $700 million BrahMos sale to Vietnam for deployment across both its army and navy, marking the largest defense export in India's history to date. Simultaneously, negotiations are advancing for a $450 million purchase by Indonesia, discussions that intensified during Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto's visit to New Delhi in January 2025. What makes these deals so momentous? First, they represent a tangible milestone toward India's ambitious goal of achieving $5 billion in defense exports by the end of this year. From a modest 4,312 crore rupees in exports between 2004 and 2014, India's defense sales have leapt to 88,319 crore rupees in the decade up to 2023, an exponential trajectory driven in large part by homegrown technologies like BrahMos. Second, in strategic terms, these arms sales are part of a broader effort to counterbalance China's assertive maneuvers in the South China Sea, particularly its expansive 9-line claims and the militarization of artificial islands. For Vietnam, which regularly dispatches its navy to challenge Chinese patrols, and for Indonesia, which has its own territorial interests around the Natuna Islands, acquiring the BrahMos system is a force multiplier, offering both deterrence and genuine defensive capability. Let's pause for a moment to consider the technical prowess encapsulated in the BrahMos missile. This is no ordinary cruise missile. Capable of sustained supersonic flight at speeds between Mach 2.8 and Mach 3.0, it travels nearly 3 times the speed of sound, drastically reducing the reaction window for adversaries. Its dual-stage propulsion system, a solid-fuel booster rocket followed by a ramjet sustainer, ensures both rapid acceleration and sustained velocity. Guidance is handled through an advanced inertial navigation system complemented by active radar homing in the terminal phase, yielding high precision even against moving maritime targets. The missile's low-altitude flight profile enables terrain masking and minimizes detection, while its versatility allows it to be fitted with either conventional or nuclear warheads, depending on mission requirements. Now, let's weave these strands together in their geopolitical context. India's Act East policy isn't just a slogan, it's a framework for projecting influence through trade, investment, and defense cooperation. By supplying BrahMos missiles to Vietnam, India not only cements a strategic partnership with Hanoi but also signals to Beijing and the international community that India is both willing and able to support its partners in safeguarding critical sea lanes. The potential deal with Indonesia, valued at around $450 million, is equally significant. Indonesia, the world's largest archipelagic state, sits astride vital shipping lanes connecting the Indian Ocean to the Pacific. Enhanced maritime defenses there help secure global commerce and uphold freedom of navigation, a principle India staunchly endorses. Of course, such high-profile defense exports don't come without complexity. Because BrahMos remains a joint Indo-Russian enterprise, any export requires coordination with Russia's NPO Mashinostroyenie and assent under the terms of the original joint venture agreement. Moreover, regional observers caution that the proliferation of advanced anti-ship missiles could trigger an arms buildup in Southeast Asia, potentially escalating tensions in an already fraught theater. Yet, proponents argue that true deterrence lies in balance, credible defenses compel restraint, and strategic stability is often best preserved when no single power enjoys overwhelming dominance. For those of you tracking this topic for exams, here are the key figures and dates to remember. First, the Vietnam deal, roughly $700 million, signed or nearing signing as of 17 April 2025. Second, the Indonesia negotiations, around $450 million in potential sale value, highlighted during President Subianto's January 2025 visit. Third, the Philippines President, $375 million deal inked in 2022, with deliveries beginning in April 2023. On the technical side, memorize the missile's speed, Mach 2.8 to 3.0, and its post-MTCR range of 300 kilometers. Note the joint venture's founding year, 1998, and India's MTCR membership in 2016. Finally, keep in mind India's $5 billion export target for 2025 and the dramatic rise from 4,312 crore rupees in the 2004 to 2014 period to 88,319 crore rupees by 2023. Beyond rote memorization, it's vital to grasp the broader themes. One is defense diplomacy, how India uses arms exports not merely for economic gain but to foster strategic partnerships and project influence. Another is deterrence theory, the idea that deploying advanced weapons can preserve peace by making aggression too costly. A third is the interplay of domestic policy and international norms. India's Make in India drive has spurred indigenous defense manufacturing, yet export success still hinges on navigating treaties like the MTCR and partner nation politics. Let's also consider the human dimensions. Behind each headline are key figures such as Jaitirth Joshi, the CEO of BrahMos Aerospace, who has steered negotiations, and political leaders like Narendra Modi and Prabowo Subianto, whose diplomatic engagements set the tone for these agreements. Military officials, Vietnamese generals and Indonesian admirals, are preparing their forces to integrate the new systems, training personnel, and revising operational plans. And technicians back in New Delhi and Moscow are fine-tuning missile components, ensuring reliability before the first live firings. As we approach the conclusion of our session, I want to underscore the ramifications of these developments for the Indo-Pacific security architecture. An increasingly interconnected web of partnerships, from quadrilateral dialogues like the Quad to bilateral defense pacts, underscores the region's multipolar character. India's rising role as a defense exporter complements its naval deployments, joint exercises like Winbacks in Vietnam and Milan in India, and dialogue mechanisms such as the ASEAN Defense Ministers meeting. Taken together, these elements signal a shift away from zero-sum rivalries toward a more nuanced balance of power. To wrap up, let me leave you with a few strategic takeaways and exam-oriented pointers. First, understand how the BrahMos deals exemplify India's dual objectives of economic advancement through Make in India and enhanced regional influence through defense diplomacy. Second, be able to explain why Southeast Asian nations are keen on acquiring supersonic cruise missiles, primarily as a counter to China's maritime assertiveness. Third, connect the dots between technical specifications, speed, range, propulsion, guidance, and operational advantages such as reduced reaction time and evasion of missile defenses. And fourth, place these deals within India's broader export trajectory and geopolitical aspirations, from the first sale to the Philippines in 2022 to the pending transactions with Vietnam and Indonesia in 2025. Answer this question in comments. The correct answer will be given hot and pinned. Lastly, we just want to let you know that we are a newly emerging online platform for competitive exams. Creating educational explainer videos like these requires a lot of effort, money, and time. If you like these videos and want us to excel and create videos in all categories of competitive exams, then you can consider supporting us with a one-time donation through the Ko-fi platform and also by becoming a member through Patreon. This will help us create more such informative educational videos in the competitive exams space. So, one last time, subscribe and share this channel with all your friends who are preparing for competitive exams. And also, follow us on social media platforms. The links are given in the About section of the channel and also in the video description. So, see you in the next video.